Incredible or frustrating could be your experience moving to Charlotte depending on three things. I will be uncovering these three things throughout the video and what to be mindful of before making a move around Charlotte. Hey, welcome to Charlotte Market Movers. My name is Cameron. I'm a Charlotte real estate agent and I help people move or invest around Charlotte from all over the country and figure out where they actually fit in the Charlotte metro. I work with relocation clients every single day, so this video is going to give you a real Charlotte specific breakdown you won't get from generic relocation videos. Charlotte continues to be one of the fastest growing metros in the Southeast, and there are a few big reasons why. With great job growth, lifestyle, and general location, Charlotte continues to be very desired. But there are still three things to think about before making a move. Now, first thing to consider when looking into Charlotte is affordability. One of the most common questions I get is Charlotte affordable? Because that's on everybody's mind. And the real answer is, it depends on where you're looking and what you're comparing it to. If you're coming from places like New York, Boston, California, or South Florida, Charlotte can feel very affordable. But if you've lived in the city for even just 10 years, you might be thinking homes aren't affordable at all. Now, 2016 is really when the city really started putting itself on the map, and housing prices did follow that, of course. In 2016, the median home price in the Charlotte area was $207,000. Today, it's $400,000. Now, many areas around the country saw a huge spike during the pandemic, but Charlotte was one of the hottest, with some areas appreciating over 30% in just 1 year. Since housing is a big chunk of affordability, some would say that it's too expensive. But in reality, Charlotte is actually the 5th cheapest city up and down the East Coast, right behind cities like Baltimore, Philly, Jacksonville, and Atlanta. From a pricing index, Charlotte is just 1% more expensive than the average city in the US. And with it being one of the biggest, this is actually a really good sign. With all that said, affordability will still largely be determined on where you're looking and what you're looking for. Inside the city, especially in popular areas like South End, Dilworth, Myers Park, and South Park, home prices are higher, and for good reason. These areas offer proximities to jobs, restaurants, walkability in some cases, and strong long-term demand. As you move outside the core, you got places like Matthews, Mint Hill, Steel Creek, or parts of Huntersville, and you'll often find more house for your money. You'll also get newer construction too if that's something you're interested in. But prices can vary drastically depending on what street you're on. You gotta think about what neighborhoods are getting overhyped online. Places like Noda or South End get all the attention, while areas like Windsor Park, Sheffield Park, Plaza Shamrock, and even like Mallard Creek often offer better value depending on what you actually care about. So is Charlotte affordable? Yes, but if you buy smart. The key is understanding where affordability actually exists, where prices are justified, and where people overextend themselves chasing the wrong lifestyle fit. The second thing to think about when moving around Charlotte is lifestyle. What's unique about the Charlotte market is that it's not really an overcompassing feel you get while you're living here. Charlotte offers a little something for everyone and is a collection of very different neighborhoods. Charlotte is a large city, but you don't get swallowed by it, and you have access to professional sports, concerts, restaurants, breweries, and cultural events. For many people, that balance is the sweet spot. But there are some negatives to it, and some people see it as a drawback and would argue that there's a lack of identity. Charlotte is very neighborhood driven, which means lifestyle can change dramatically depending on where you live. You've got more urban areas like South End, where people enjoy the walkability, nightlife, proximity to work, and you've also got established neighborhoods with tree-lined streets, parks like Myers Park. You also have suburbs and lake communities where space, schools, and outdoor living becomes a priority, like Davidson, for example. Another big part of Charlotte lifestyle is outdoor access. The city has an extensive greenway system, large parks, plenty of places to walk, run, or bike. And on top of that, you're about 2 hours from the mountains, roughly 3 hours from the coast. It really makes weekend trips very doable without feeling like a major commitment. The job market also plays a big role in lifestyle here. Charlotte has a strong professional culture, especially in finance, healthcare, tech, and corporate roles. But it's generally less cutthroat than larger coastal cities. People tend to prioritize balance, family time, quality of life, all of this stuff, and it shows in how the city operates day to day. For families, Charlotte offers a wide range of school options, youth sports, parks, community-focused neighborhoods, and for young professionals, there's a growing social scene, food culture, plenty of opportunities to network, build a career, and meet people from all over the country. Weather is another lifestyle factor people appreciate. You get 4 seasons, but winters are generally mild compared to the Northeast and Midwest, and you're not dealing with extreme weather year-round. The key thing to understand about Charlotte is that lifestyle here is customizable. You're not locked into one version of city living. The experience you have depends heavily on choosing the right area for how you actually want to live day to day. The third thing to factor is commute times. On paper, Charlotte doesn't look spread out, but traffic patterns matter a lot here. A 10 to 15 mile commute can take 15 minutes during off hours, or it can take 45 to an hour during peak times, depending on which direction you're traveling. One thing that I realized when I moved to Charlotte is that roads here are a spaghetti bowl. You may be driving on one street and the name will change 3 different times within 10 minutes, so good luck memorizing where things are based on street names. Public transit could also definitely get better here. It has been on most people's wish list for a while, so we'll have to wait to see how that'll play out. Overall, traffic isn't terrible, but will also largely depend on what you're comparing it to. However, there are still a few roads that always seem to be congested during rush hours, such as Independence and Highway 77. And that's why where you live in relationship to where you work is more important than distance alone. Charlotte may not be the right city for you if you expect dense, walk everywhere, or take the train everywhere, like living like Manhattan or Chicago. If driving truly stresses you out, that's something to seriously consider. Now, these things will largely determine if you have a great experience in Charlotte or a frustrating one. My aim is to help guide you through to make sure that you don't make any of those mistakes. Now, on this channel, I break down Charlotte neighborhoods, market trends and updates, buying and selling strategies, investment opportunities, and the real pros and cons of living in Charlotte, all from a local data-driven perspective. If you're planning on making a move and want help figuring out where you actually fit in, my contact information is below. And if you want more honest Charlotte content like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.